Hey Michael, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I am doing well. We're so close we could be having this Zoom in person actually.
It's true. I can just roll down my window and yell out the
Yeah.
window.
So Michael, you're one of the actuarial friends that I've actually met locally, right? Because a lot of the times those actuaries that I don't work with, I meet at national conferences, but you're one of the few that I met locally. I know you're very involved locally with ASNI and other uh, local actuarial groups that you've gotten together, like the Chief Actuaries of New York City, which is how we met.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to believe how time has flown since then. But my first dealings with the actuarial side of New York was actually in 2001
Mhm.
because I was president. Well, I wasn't president then, but I was serving as chief actuary in the accident and health division at Transamerica Re. And I was invited to this chief actuaries meeting, which was a very interesting meeting because there's not a lot of meetings in our profession that are catering specifically to the chief actuary. You
Mhm.
know, they deal with technical issues about valuation and reporting, but then they deal with board of director issues, staffing issues, and many of the New York Metro chief actuaries deal with global staffing, not only staffing in different locations, but internationally.
Yeah, I remember, the first chief actuary meeting that you invited me to was during COVID, and some of the discussions that we had around the table was about, how do we think about IT security, and how do we think about employee morale, and how do we think about retaining employees? So it was very, very helpful.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because it's with remote employees, more and more actuaries are going to start to feel like independents.
Yeah.
So, roughly 10 years ago, when I was president of ASNI, we saw that the largest growing demographic of our own membership was the independent actuary.
Hmm.
And, the independent actuary, the entrepreneurial actuary, but now that many large corporations are using more and more remote employees, you have more and more actuaries feeling like they're independent or they're entrepreneurial or they're remote,
Yeah.
and they're kind of managing the balance of they need to get their continuing ed, and the cost of continuing ed.
Right. And with this, growing, and obviously a large part, not a large, but a recognizable part of the actual profession of being independent, how can the SOA, cater more towards them and help them and support them?
Well, the SOA has always been like the big brother, big sister to all the actuarial clubs in North America. So being part of the New York club, our role was to line up testing centers, create continuing education, and then kind of help bring the troops together locally for CE events and just different type of programs. I think something that the SOA can do is with the growing independent demographic, that maybe the SOA can provide resources, communication campaigns to encourage new actuaries, independent actuaries to find their local clubs. So identify, a liaison at each actuarial club. And every time we have new SOA members joining, they get their ASA, that they get an email from their local club, which is actually generated by the SOA as an example, saying, welcome, congratulations, want to introduce you to the local club. It's a way for actuaries to meet each other, virtually or in person, kind of like the way you and I met.
Right. Well, Michael, thank you for these thoughts. I think they're very helpful and motivates me to give back to my local community even more. And I'll pass these thoughts along if I were to be on the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.